This is The Dig on the Huskers Radio Network podcast. Powered by Emeritus. Featuring Nebraska volleyball assistant coach Kelly Hunter. Here's your host, Jessica Coody.
Welcome back into another episode of The Dig. I'm Jessica Coody alongside Kelly Hunter. What a weekend for Husker sports. How was that to be a part of?
Geez, just Saturday in general and the hype of the football game and the hype of the volleyball game, and we're playing the same school. That rarely happens where it lines up where we're playing the same teams. So it was just a really big weekend for Husker Nation.
You know, and then it all started with the Friday night men's basketball win. It was just carried over with the electricity, and just you could feel it here on campus when you were walking around.
We love those, not really border battles, in-state battles, but watching the basketball team and just seeing that with some friends on Friday night and the hype around that, and Fred and talking about just the I-80 battle and all of that was really cool.
Well, what a performance for the volleyball team on Saturday night. Another sweep over Wisconsin. What were the big takeaways when you guys settled in and watched the film and I guess got a chance to really dive into that one?
A lot of it was kind of reviewing round one, what worked, what didn't work, what adjustments do we want to make. So we watched a lot of review of that match and just have they changed anything since we've played them a month ago, and they tweaked a couple different things, but we really loved kind of our defensive and offensive game plans going in round one, so we didn't really change a lot, and obviously it worked out well for us up in Madison, and so we just kind of tried to stay true to our brand of volleyball and what we did against them round one, and we expected and knew that they would play great, and coming into Lincoln and being fired up, we knew that they were going to give us their best shot.
I thought, too, again, it was another kind of example of weathering the storm, responding to runs. It just seemed like the Huskers always had an answer, and it seems like that's something that you guys have figured out here over the last month or so.
We've talked a lot about kind of the intangibles and just how can we bounce back from mistakes and what does that look like for our team. And a lot of that is them and their eye contact and their huddles and their ability to slow down the game. But against Wisconsin specifically, obviously they're a great team, and we know that they're going to make great plays and they're going to go on runs, but it's all about our response. I think our team has worked very, very hard on that, and they've been dialed in with those intangibles, and you can see it pay off.
Well, it was senior day, which always is an emotional day, and certainly not going to be the last time that this team plays inside the BOP, but it holds a different, I guess, kind of weight because it's you play all the videos and the parents are there, you have the kind of the reception, and so I don't know how you watch Merritt Beeson's press conference and not get emotional about it and just what this place has meant to her. But this senior class and what they've been able to do and how they've been able to help establish what you guys want to do, how important have they been? How monumental has this group been?
They've been amazing, and especially after last year not having any seniors and then this big senior class, it's really, really cool to see just their different paths and how they've made their way to Nebraska. And obviously Merritt is a great example, and she's the best at kind of just talking about what this place means to her and the impact that it's had on her. And then Layla coming from San Diego and just being here for only 1 year and just hearing how appreciative she is of our program, our team, just the friendships and bonds that they've made. They're a really special group, and like I said, after not having seniors, I think they're kind of making up for 2 years of not having seniors, and it's just really cool to see the way the team wants to do it for them too.
When Merritt said, I came here and I didn't love volleyball and I didn't know who Merritt was and I didn't have a lot of confidence in who Merritt is, and as a coach, as someone that helps run this program, that's got to mean a lot to you guys to hear a player come in and say, hey, I fell back in love with volleyball, and hey, I found myself and I'm more confident in myself.
I think it's I can't even really describe it. It's such a cool feeling, and we're at Nebraska, we're striving for championships, but we want to help them become strong, independent young women and prepare them for life and just find out their strengths and who they want to be as people and as maybe a mom one day or in their profession. And I think that's one thing that we really try and focus on is not just their volleyball development and winning championships. Obviously, those are goals of ours, but even kind of more important in that is just their individual development and the joy that they have for the game and being around our program and our state and just really, really appreciating that. So it's really cool to kind of hear that pay off, and it just makes your heart happy.
How have you seen Merritt evolve just from the player she was when she got here to where she is now?
She is a phenomenal leader, and she always has been. And when she first stepped into our gym, we were like, this girl's special. She's going to be a leader for this team. But just watching her kind of be mama bear for everyone and really, really take care of everyone is just, it's so cool to watch. And just, I'm in awe of her every single day. But I think she's learned how to do all of that, but also take care of herself, because leadership is difficult, and managing 13 other young women who are still trying to figure out life is difficult. And I would say maybe last year that took more of a toll on her, but now I think she's learned kind of some coping mechanisms and stuff like that, and just how to fill up her own bucket so that she's not empty because she's giving so much to everyone else. And she's got a puppy now to help fill her bucket. Every now and then she'll go out to Lindsay Peterson's for dinner and hang out with the boys just because her family's not here. And so being able to spend that time with Lindsay and kind of unplug is really, really beneficial. And I think she's just found a way to love herself, support herself, so that she can help support everyone else.
I know we've talked a lot about Kennedy Orr and just her role, but as kind of her position coach and just how her journey and what she's went through and to get to this point. And she also seems like someone that just is so confident in herself and embraces her role and loves being a part of this program. Can you just talk about her impact and just, I guess, the example that she set and how she's gone about her career as a Husker?
She is just the picture-perfect example of a teammate, a Husker volleyball player, what it means to play for Nebraska. And I think it could have been very easy for her to leave and go somewhere else, but I think she loves this program and loves her teammates and loves the class that she came in with and couldn't imagine playing anywhere else. So I really admire her for embracing what's in front of her and embracing her role and having a smile every single day. And after senior night, we had more videos in the locker room, just a little bit more personal. And Bergen just really spoke to the fact that Kennedy is always in her corner and always has her back and helps her through those hard moments. And they do that for each other. And just being kind of part of that is really, really special. And it's just awesome to see the way they love each other and support each other and just really have each other's back through those hard moments.
What about just, as a player and she came in as a setter, and certainly you guys have used her in that role, but just her ability to come in and serve in big moments, and she's become a good passer and has got some big time digs, and just that part of her game that has grown along the way. How have you seen that evolve too?
I think she embraces that serving sub role, and it's a tough role to come in for that one rotation and try and make a difference, especially when you're kind of off on the side watching for the other five and observing and trying to stay warm. Honestly, that's hard if there's some longer runs, but we talk a lot about like, hey, you're not just serving. If you want to stay on the court and be out there longer, you got to play defense. And I think she's totally embraced that, and she's an awesome defender. And just one thing she would never be afraid to do is just put her body on the line. She'll dive around, she'll fly around, she'll make sure she gets the dig one way or another. And it's fun to see how resilient she is when she goes in there, and we just talk about you got to dig the ball if you want to stay out there. So we see a lot of that now.
She might be moving into the littles room, the littles rotation.
I don't know if they would quite embrace her. They're very protective over the littles. I think I might have mentioned it last time, but there was one time the setters tried to take the picture that the littles take, and they were
not happy about it.
No, they were not
having
happy.
it.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about a few different things from the Wisconsin match, and Taylor Landfair has seemed to really find her groove over these last few weeks as well. What's gone into that? What has enabled her to really build that connection with Bergen, where you guys are calling on her in some big moments too?
I think she's put in a lot of work just technically. She's working really, really hard on her footwork, being in good positions, being able to go get sets that are less than ideal, and that happens a lot. In a perfect world, we're setting perfect, our footwork is perfect, all of that, but that's just not the way it works out. So I think she's worked really, really hard on that, and Jordan is in her corner and always reminding her footwork, we got to get our feet to the ball, things like that. But I think the biggest thing is just confidence. And I mean, she was Big Ten Player of the Year and then had more of a struggle of a season the next season. And so that's hard, and just confidence comes and goes. You're not always feeling 100%, but I think she's really found that groove and just remembered what her strengths are and then worked on some of those weaknesses, but having those strengths in mind is really, really important.
We've talked a lot about the slide and what makes Andy Jackson so good at that, but we saw Rebekah Allick really have a great match as well. And Lauren and JB were kind of talking about that difference between, what Rebekah provides as an attacker and then what Andy provides as an attacker. And so when you're Bergen out there, and I know they play maybe at different times, but how do you decipher when you're going to who and when it's, I guess, sets up for Rebekah to have kind of the moment for her to be able to be really effective at the net?
Yeah, I think we haven't been setting Rebekah as much, so there's a little bit of that kind of element of surprise, but she's been working very hard on managing the situation. If it's not there or if there's two blockers in front of you, how do I manage that situation? And I think she's become a little bit more low error and just keeps the ball in play more, and she's kind of found this nice little tip also, and just finding different ways to kill the ball and to affect the other side. But Becca is such a hard worker, and she will always be up. She will always be calling it. She will always be ready, whether she's getting set or not. And I think she's just worked really hard in the background. And I think she has also the benefit of having two other attackers in her rotation. So there's a lot for the blockers to worry about. And when we are able to get her the ball, usually it's one-on-one, and that's a great situation for an attacker.
How does that change the mindset for Bergen when you have someone that's come along now that is contributing a lot more offensively, and so then that adds another person that you've got to spread the ball out to?
Offense kind of ebbs and flows. So we have our core values, what we kind of want to accomplish with our offense and our distribution and things like that. We always want to be pretty balanced. We don't want anyone having 50, 60 swings a night. We'd prefer it to be a little bit more even and spread out. And I think with that, there's people who are on a hot streak, and there's people who maybe have been struggling, or the other team's paying a little bit more attention to them, so their job's harder. And I think as a setter, it's very much your feel and your flow of who is hot right now, how can I exploit their defense. It's really difficult and really intricate, and I think it just kind of ebbs and flows. So one game it might be Merritt that we're pumping all the time. One game it's Harper. One game it's Taylor, Becca, or Andy. It always changes, and I think it's all about knowing the moment and understanding who's on your team and how they're playing right now.
Rebekah said something that I thought was pretty profound too in the press conference, just about what we do is so hard in practice, and we battle it out, and then just the pressures that come along with that. So then when we get to a match day, it's fun. How have you seen that change, I guess, between how this team manages the struggle and the challenges of just every day, that when you get to a match, it's just, hey, let's just be free and have fun?
Our standards are very, very high, especially in practice, and exactly what Rebekah said, we want to make it harder in practice so that games, it feels easier, or you feel a little bit more confident. Like, I've done something similar to this all week long. Now I can just get to a game day and celebrate. And that's a big kind of thing that we've been trying to push, is game day is a celebration of the hard work we've put in, not just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but in August or in the summer or even in the spring. They've been working so hard for so long, and this group has been together for a long time now. And I think that's kind of just our goal right now, is once we get to game days, celebrate, be confident, know that you've put in the work, and just enjoy it.
How do you do that, though? Because you're battling it out, and it has got to be pretty heated sometimes at practice, but then this is such a close team. So how have you guys gone about building that? How's their locker room? How have the players done that to where they are so close, but yet, hey, we are going to embrace competing against each other on the day in and day out?
I think the competition, whether it's against each other or in a really difficult drill, just brings out the best in everyone, and it helps you get connected. And when you're going through hard things and you're trying to battle and you're trying to find solutions, you just get even closer as a group. But there are some times where they're kind of going back and forth at each other, and at the end of the day, they're all super competitive and they want to win. And sometimes there's some smack talk. Some days there's not, but they just love competing. And I think that's why they're able to just show up on game day. And some games, they almost have this kind of alter ego about them, that they're just a little bit more intense, because they're a group that loves to have fun and enjoy and just make practice kind of giggly and fun sometimes. And I think that's a great quality that they have, because then when they bring that into game day, they have a little bit of that with a little bit more edge, and you can really see it.
Heading into the final regular season week of the season, how close is this team to playing their best volleyball?
I think we're pretty close. Yeah, I think It's really just what we've talked about today, like the intangible things. And they know that they're all great volleyball players and that they've put in the work and that they just need to rely on those things and not try and force it or feel like that they need to play perfect. Because a lot of times when you're trying to play perfect, it usually goes the other way. So I think they really understand that they can give themselves grace, and we're playing really good competition. The Big Ten is as strong as it's ever been. And I think that they allow themselves to understand that I don't need to be perfect. We don't need to be perfect. We don't need to hit 400 or hold them to negative or anything like that. So I think they really understand that. And with that, they just are able to play kind of point by point. And we talk a lot about that, especially in our sport. 1 point is 1 point, and sometimes it can feel like more than that.
Yeah.
So we have been really reminding them, and they've been reminding each other, just 1 point, we're on to the next. Whether we win it or we lose it, we're on to the next point. And one big thing that coach has been saying a lot lately, just with their level of competition, is when we go to a match, we need to win three sets by 2 points. That's it. And obviously we want to have good stats and all of those good things, but at the end of the day, it's about winning those sets by 2 points.
So how do you guys approach then? This is the final week of the regular season with a lot on the line. You got a Big Ten title on the line at Penn State. We all know, the history there. But are there things still that you're working on, or is it now about maintaining and making sure that you're healthy and all of that?
A little bit of both. We've talked a lot about our standards and just how our practices are and just how difficult they are. So we're going to keep that going. It's going to be probably a lighter day today, but then a tough week of some 6-on-6 and working on some things we need to work on. So today is a big kind of film day for us, reviewing the weekend. What do we need to get better at? But something we've adopted with the team right now is it's called JOT, just one thing. So we're going to have them all come up with one thing they want to focus on. It can be serving, blocking, defense, whatever they want it to be, but we're just focused on this one thing, and we're going to get a little bit better at that one thing. And that's kind of always been John's philosophy, is teams are either staying the same, getting worse, or getting better. What do we want to do? Especially at this point in the season, it's easy to coast or think we're great, but I think there's always that level of we want to be better.
So then what does this week look like then, preparation-wise? I mean, you just said a light day, but with Thanksgiving, I know it's part of, being here at Nebraska, you guys are used to playing and having Thanksgiving around competition. Same thing with the football team. But how are you guys going to celebrate that? What are you going to do with that? When do you travel? All of that.
We actually have a team dinner planned for Wednesday, because a lot of them, we have a couple Nebraska girls who would maybe go home if they had the choice, but a lot of girls are from out of town. They don't have family here, and a lot of the parents will be traveling up to Penn State, so it's not like they're coming here to spend time with them. But we'll have a team dinner on Wednesday night. We'll take off for Penn State on Thursday, practice there, play a match on Friday. So it's kind of business as usual, but with a little fun Thanksgiving dinner on Wednesday.
Penn State's been playing well all season long, and a couple of familiar faces on the other side of the net. How does that change the approach? Does it at all? You have to put that away when you're playing. I mean, and you guys match up with people that we saw Allie Batenhorst earlier, but with Caroline Juravicius and Maggie Mendelson, and two players that were a big part of last year's run. Just as part of just playing their roles on the bench and practice. And how does that change how you face up against someone like that?
It's always a little bit emotional, and I think we for sure saw that when Allie came back to Lincoln, and just the warm welcome that she got, and there was some tears on both sides of the net. But I think it's something that we have to acknowledge, because we're seeing our good friends and our old teammates, and I'm sure there'll be some of those same emotions. But I think there's a lot of excitement too, to just kind of play against your friends and maybe talk some smack. I don't know. I doubt they'll do that, but you never know. But I think it'll just be kind of like, hey, we're playing Penn State. They're a great team. And to a certain extent, we just kind of want to talk about them like they're anyone else that we're playing. But I think it is something to note and to know that is coming, and we'll probably front load that with them.
Okay, if you were drafting a smack talking team, who's the number one overall pick for this Nebraska team?
Oh gosh, honestly, maybe Lindsay. Lindsay's feisty. She kind of has these one-off comments, and usually she's pretty witty too. So that I appreciate that humor when there's kind of like some wit behind it. But they all kind of do. Lainey, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not surprising. I figured she'd be up at the top.
Yeah.
Okay, well, but the matchup with Penn State, break it down for us. What are they going to bring? What do you guys have to do to be able to match up well against Penn State?
They have a pretty they have a balanced attack in some ways, but they also have Jess Merzick, who they really rely on. They have a freshman setter who's come in and done a really nice job and really distributed the offense and just kind of led their team, which is really cool to see for them with the freshman setter. But I think it'll be a lot of just kind of managing Jess and understanding that she's their go-to hitter. And if we can slow her down, that's really helpful. But it also could be Jess is maybe going to have a great match. Can we manage everyone else? So I think we'll have our game plan and we know everyone's tendencies and all of that, but a lot of it will kind of just be about probably managing their big left side. But I think same as always, if we can serve tough, play defense, be really clean on our side, I think it'll be a good match for us.
There's a lot on the line in this one. I mean, if you win that one, you win the Big Ten outright. Just how do you guys go about that and managing that? Do you embrace that? Hey, this is what's on the line here today. Let's go win it. Or do you try to just make it a normal match?
I think we'll try to make it a normal match because everyone's already thinking those things. And we've talked about it, just the grind that the Big Ten is and how you have to be good in September. It's not just November that really matters. And we've talked about that all season long, just that grind of the Big Ten and how every single match really, really matters. And so I think we've done a good job of kind of handling that and just acknowledging that what we're trying to accomplish, and we know that this is a goal for us. So it will get brought up, but I think the bigger thing is just, hey, we're playing a great team, and we want to play our best against the great teams, and that's kind of the situation we're in.
What does the Big Ten Championship, though, mean to this program? Coach Cook has said a lot. It's sometimes harder to win a Big Ten title than it is the national championship. So, and you guys make no bones about it. We're going to go into a season wanting to win a Big Ten title outright. So what does a Big Ten title mean to this program?
Coach is spot on. It's a grind. It's 3 months long of playing intense competition, and this year with more travel and going to the West Coast, it's not easy by any means at all. So I think it would mean a ton for our team, and just it would show them that they've worked hard for a very long time and that they have earned the right to feel confident and to own those big moments because they've played consistently very well for months and months and months. And then with that, winning and just kind of having that confidence that bleeds into the postseason. And so it's kind of just a lot of little things that add up to get you to that national championship, which is also one of our goals. And it is every year, and it's really cool to have kind of that mindset and those goals and even that pressure. It brings out the best in everyone, and they embrace it fully.
And I can't get away without asking, it doesn't end with Penn State. You guys got to close that chapter and then bounce back at Maryland, which could be a tough kind of turnaround too, depending on how Friday goes. So again, what's that approach look like, and what is Maryland bringing to the table?
I think a big thing is just that back-to-back matchup, especially on the road. We have to travel in between. We haven't done it as much as we did in the past. We've had a lot of kind of midweek games or days off, whether it's a Friday, Sunday, or Thursday, Saturday, whatever it is. So a lot of that is kind of just managing the travel. But I think this team knows that everyone gets up really high to play Nebraska, and we have a target on our backs, and everyone loves playing Nebraska. But I think this team has done a really good job of going into other gyms and not letting crowds affect them, because Maryland they always have a good crowd, and we actually get a lot of Husker fans out there too, so that's fun to see. But I think our team has done a really good job on the road of just understanding we're in someone else's gym, they're at home, they're going to be amped up to play us, and we need to match that.
Okay, Thanksgiving dinner, you got the turkey to cook. Who are you most entrusting with cooking the turkey?
Oh, gosh. Probably none of the Huskers.
None? Not a single one?
Well, they don't have to cook, really. Like, they get the training table, and they get Husker bucks on the weekend, so a lot of them don't have to cook. But if they wanted to make coffees, I would for sure trust Macy to make my coffee. Macy and Lexi, they have like an espresso maker. They make like 3 a day. So I would trust them. Honestly, I would trust Brian, our strength coach, with the turkey. Don't know why, but I feel like he would cook a good turkey.
Best Thanksgiving side dish?
I actually just made it last night. It's my mom's corn casserole. It's like cornbread, creamed corn, cheese, of course, some sour cream, I think that's my favorite.
Oh, awesome. You need to drop that recipe.
I'll ask my mom. I don't think it's like a family thing, but maybe I'll post it on something.
Awesome. Well, great stuff. Happy Thanksgiving. Best of luck this weekend. Let's go win a Big Ten title.
Awesome. Thank you.
And that's Kelly Hunter joining us here on this week's episode of The Dig, powered by Emeritus. Emeritus is proud to power this podcast and all of Husker women's sports. Thanks for listening and watching. And as always, make sure you're subscribed and like wherever you listen to never miss an episode right here on the Huskers Radio Network podcast.